Hey YouTube, and welcome to my review of the Aaxa M6 projector, the first review that I'm aware of on this projector on YouTube. I've also put a review on Amazon.ca because I am Canadian, and so that's where I record my reviews if you're interested in reading that. The reason I'm doing this today is because this is the first projector that Aaxa has put out that is a full 1080p resolution, as opposed to the earlier versions being 1280 by 800 pixels. Still high definition, but not your full 1920 by 1080p. I just received it a few days ago, and I was super excited. I did a lot of shopping around before I chose it, even though I've owned a Aaxa P300 before. The P300 was a great little projector. It did have that red tint over the faces regarding color, and Aaxa has since resolved that very well with the M5 and M6 versions of their projectors. There's a few things though that you should know before I turn this puppy on and show you the image quality and such. First of all, because it's new 1080p programming or hardware or whatever they say on the website, it is not available with keystoning correction. And so that means that this projector right now needs to be exactly in line with the screen, or it will not be a perfect boxed screen image, because you can't keystone it. And because I had the P300 and I could keystone it and correct that, I didn't know that until right before delivery when I went to frequently asked questions on the Aaxa homepage and discovered that indeed this is a fixed keystone. And so I was a little distressed, I gotta say, and so I had to actually, because I have my projector attached to a bulkhead here, I needed to lower my screen down, unfortunately. That's not from lowering the screen, that's from an earlier homemade projector paper thing I had going on, which I'm going to frame it out and make it look nice. But anyway, I had to lower the screen down, so as you can see, close to the floor, fairly close to the floor. And so that was something I was definitely concerned about, but I've gotten worked out, and that's really good. But do know that it does not have any keystoning correction, and so to me that seems ridiculous that they wouldn't think that would be a deal breaker for some customers, but hey, what are you gonna do? So I'm glad that I figured that out, and I will say too that the image offset on this projector is 100%, meaning that from the center of the lens, it projects, the center of the lens will be in line with the image, the bottom of the image it projects. So if you had it on like a coffee table or something like that, then if you projected it up to the screen, you would see that the bottom of the image was pretty much in line with the coffee table level or a little bit up. And that of course is so that you can project it from a coffee table or something and it will not like project onto the coffee table. So if I had mine up here, if I had the projector up here, then I might have been able to keep my screen up higher, but I still would have had to adjust that. It just so happens, so I had to move the screen instead of the projector. So if you're going to buy this projector, I suggest that you get an adjustable mini projection mount, ceiling mount, and they have ones on Amazon that are like 20 centimeters to 30 to 40 centimeters or something. They extend, and that might sort of do you as far as adjusting the height, if you as opposed to having to adjust the height of your screen. But you know, it kind of worked out because as you see, I have a treadmill over here and I like to watch movies, and so lowering the screen down actually took the obstruction of the projector out of the way, whereas with the P300, which was smaller than this, about half the size, it obstructed the image a little bit because it was in the way. In this case, it's not obstructed at all, so I kind of like it, and that's fine. Some of the other things to consider, this is an Arlo home security camera mount right there too. So I've discovered that because it has a tripod, like a camera tripod screw on the top, a thread, so that you can put it on like a tripod, but also they make mini projector mounts for it. But this is actually an Arlo home security camera mount, and it has been great so far, considering that their cameras are really light, and this is actually fairly heavy at 2.5 pounds, so you're going to want something that is well made. Arlo makes well-made security camera mounting systems. Some of the ones on Amazon are pretty sketch in the reviews, and you wouldn't want your $1,000 projector falling onto the floor. So that would be not great. Other things to consider are if you're upgrading from a 1280 to a 720p image to a 1080 is that if you switch your HDMI through a main switcher, because you have multiple devices, you're going to need to perhaps buy a switcher that boosts the signal out to the projector, because I was getting some pixel starring, like it'd be flashing like stars on the screen from my Apple TV and from my PS4. I solved it for the PS4 by actually going into changing the resolution to 1080p, 1080i actually instead of 1080p, and for some reason that has helped. Same with the PS3, mainly because of the 60 frame per second that the projector resolves at 60 frames per second. I forget what that's called. But for some reason, I don't think those options are on the PS4 as far as 60 frames per second, but I'm going to recheck into that. I solved the starring from my Apple TV by actually just taking the Apple TV and mounting it beside, so that I just switched the main HDMI to the Apple TV when it's time for me to use the Apple TV, which I do a lot for AirPlay, and the image fixed right up. So that was something I was concerned about, because I thought it was the projector that wasn't projecting well, but I just think it's because the Apple TV and the other systems through the switcher weren't putting out enough signal boost to get it through. So that's kind of what you need to know. It's got the HDMI in the back. It comes with a VGA cable adapter for the so those AV cables, or whatever the red and white ones, or whatever those are called, can go on the back. It has a headphone audio jack, which I have going to some computer speakers. If you watched my other video, which you probably didn't, you'll know that this is the same setup I had with my P300, and you know, and it works really well. The computer speakers work really well. This is a 1200 lumen projector, and it has an eco mode of 500 lumens, which is 100 more than the P300 that I had. And it is really whisper quiet when you have an eco mode, but when I fire it up, it's automatically on standard lumen mode, and the lumens are nice, the color is beautiful, the image is sharp, but it is loud, and I was a little concerned about it. I still am concerned about it, because I'm gonna have to use headphones. Movie nights with friends might have to have an eco mode. My wife likes eco mode more because she says it doesn't hurt her eyes, but I like the vibrant colors that are like HD TV quality that come with the higher lumens. Let's take a listen as I turn it on, and you'll hear what I mean. I'm gonna have to create a hush box or something. I'm kind of getting used to it, but it's pretty loud. Listen. Okay, I'm not sure if you can hear that really well, but it's not the fan noise really, it's the whirring that you hear. There's like a whirring sound. And that is distracting. But you know, the more I use it, the less I feel like it's really loud. It's just compared to what I had before, it seemed exceptionally loud. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the image now. This is standard. I think this is 1,000 lumens, not the full 1,200. And so this is the lights fully on in my room. And whereas the P300 would be completely washed out, this is actually pretty good. So I do love that. You might hear the projector behind me still, I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the PS4. And it'll come on. All right, and you can see that it's pretty clear image. I'm just gonna carry the remote around with me, okay, with the lights on in the room. But you know, it's still washed out. But you know, any projector will be with lights fully shining on it. If you get 3,000 lumens, I guess you're gonna see. But you know, it's good. I mean, let me go into I'll put a movie on. Just whatever, no escape. I don't know what the heck. I'm not watching it or anything. And then I'll just fast forward here. I want to finish up the video quick so that I don't go too long. And we'll get a picture going. So it's the windows aren't open in my room, but the lights are fully on. I'm gonna go ahead now, and I feel like it's out of focus for some reason. It's not. It just had to take a second to get going. I'm gonna turn the lights down now, and you see that the image is bright and crisp and nice, and and that it is great. And I'll tell you what, for games like on the PS4, games like Rocket League that I love, that have really small text chatting on the top corner, or just like when you see a ball far afield, or if you're playing a Last of Us multiplayer shooter and you want to get those headshots from far away, it's made a world of difference, to tell you the truth, because the resolution really does smooth out the edges. You'll see what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit the movie, or just pause it, and I'm just going to there. I'm just going to go in on the text, and you'll see, whereas my P300, you get closer. I used to be able to focus my P300 by the pixels because I could actually see them because I have a 100-inch screen projected, but you see as I go in, I'm just less than a foot away from the screen right now, and you see as I go in that the pixels, you can't really see the pixels. It's kind of like when I like the comparison to when I had my iPad 2, and then I upgraded to the iPad Air, the first iPad Air, and just the Retina display difference, it is so much better. Anyway, I hope that I've answered all of your questions regarding this projector, because I know that there's not much out there. It is still a production model, and I got it directly from the company. It's about a month, I think, to ship off Amazon right now if you order it, and so that could be a little bit of a wait. But you know, no keystoning, loud, but it does have an amazing HD image. You know, I guess as far as I shopped around, like I would have got maybe an Epson or something like that if I could put it on the shelf here and project it there, but it was just too far back, and I didn't have the throw distance I needed, and I don't want a bulky projector hanging from the ceiling obstructing my view from the treadmill here, so I kind of had to go with this. And you know what else is good about this projector is it's 3 LCD technology, so it's not a color wheel, and I really do believe that the colors in this, they say the contrast is only 2000 to 1, but you know, that's only light contrast. It doesn't, people say that you don't need to pay much attention to the contrast, because the 3 LCD really does create vibrant pictures as opposed to the color wheels, and I do really love the color saturation. It is truly cinema quality that comes out of this new projector. So I hope you find this useful. I do love Aaxa as a company. Why they would imagine putting out a new projector without keystoning and then, you know, not advertising to make sure that people are aware of that totally, although it is discoverable fairly easily. It's just you wouldn't expect it not to have. You're paying $1,000, no keystoning? Come on. Yeah, no keystoning. It's loud. And but eco mode, you'll hear, I'll just do, before I go, I'll put it on eco mode for you, and you can hear the difference. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Eco mode. Listen. Okay, that's a 500 lumen image. Still actually fairly visible, but you'll see it's a lot more washed out. It's fine under low light conditions. Still the same, you know, resolution, but it is definitely doesn't have that pop, which I want because I got a new projector, even though I'm used to it being more like this than I am otherwise. But it gets whisper quiet. So, and my wife actually prefers the this brightness when we're watching movies down here because of eye strain. And they say anything over 1200 lumens it's pretty bad in dark environments for your eyes anyway. But I hope you found this useful. Put any comments down below that you might want to, if you have any questions you want me to answer for you about this, because I would have loved to know more about it through YouTube before I got it. I hope you guys all have an awesome day, and thank you for joining me for the video.